I just watched a TikTok of somebody addressing a parents kicking out their kids at 18, and I would like to say on my behalf on it, I was also one of those kids. My parents kicked me out when I was 18, 19, really, really young, and I never forgave them for it. I will never forget that experience. It was traumatizing. Never. If I ever become a parent, I would never do that to my children. Ever. Especially in this economy? No. No. I will never forget that day they kicked me out because they were angry with themselves and they took it out on me. I will never forget it, and I will never forgive them for it. Ever. If you're a parent and you do this, I would think very long and hard, because I didn't talk to my parents for 5 years after what they did to me. So I'm still trying to work that through. Like years later, I will never forget that experience.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
All right, let me try this. We listen, but we don't judge. When my abusive mother kicked me out when I was 20 years old, she threw all of my shit outside, like in the yard and in the driveway and stuff. So when my boyfriend at the time came to pick me up and take me over to his apartment, I left half of that shit in the yard because I didn't really need it anyway. And she kept calling me after my boyfriend came to pick me up, and she was like, "Come back and get this stuff out of the yard." And I was like, no. So the same shit that she threw outside, she had to go out there and pick it all back up.
To this commenter right here, I am so sorry that this happened to you. You know, when you peel back the layers of this conversation like an onion, you really get to see just how detrimental it really is. You know, kicking your child out of the house at 17 years old right after graduation is problematic in so many different ways. Not only does it hamper generational wealth, but in cases where this affects men, it is a breeding ground for toxic masculinity. And it also allows unwanted trauma to manifest itself in many different ways. If this continues to occur, it'll be a never-ending cycle of children continuing to resent their parents. Not to mention the burden of responsibility that's placed on that child when they become an adult to break the generational curse once they have children. Let's be honest about the entire situation. Parents that do stuff like this feel validated in doing it because it happened to them. It's not okay, and it's not fair.
So I just went down a rabbit hole of videos of people who were kicked out when they were 18. And every single one of them is dealing with trauma. It didn't help any of them to be responsible for themselves. It just helped them have traumatic experiences and lose relationships with their loved ones. And as a parent, I just want to ask other parents, why are you doing this? In my eyes, when I said I wanted to become a parent to my 2 kids, I didn't say just while they were babies and they were all cute and adorable. I didn't say while they were toddlers going through terrible twos. I didn't say while they were growing up and becoming kids. You know, I have to teach them how to read and write, and it gets difficult because they have little attitudes and they're talking back. And, you know, and in the future, I'm not going to say, oh, I just want to be a parent to teenagers, and once they're done being teenagers, I'm done. I didn't say that. I said I want to be a parent. I want to be a parent. That means I'm in this for life. I'm in the long haul. I'm in this for the long haul, for taking care of my kids until they can take care of themselves. And then I'll still be here for them. Me and my husband already have a decision made about their future. They will be in our house until they get sick of us. Okay? It's not going to be oh, you're 18 years old now. Get out. We're done with you being in our house. This is their house. This will continue to be their house. And wherever we move will still be a home for them. And no, it's not to enable them. No, you're not enabling your child when you're doing this. I homeschool my kids. We do a lot of Montessori learning. My kids have responsibilities and chores and things they know that they are responsible for. But I think society has tricked themselves into thinking that you have to kick an 18-year-old out, or you're enabling them and babying them and they need to learn the real world. But you as a parent, your responsibility doesn't stop when your child turns 18. You are still responsible for caring for them, and you are neglecting them when you kick them out and they have no idea what to do or where to go. To me, you didn't really want to become a parent. You wanted a cute little plaything. And when that cute little plaything got too big, you got tired of it and kicked it out. So yeah, to me, unless my child is putting my household in danger, they're not getting kicked out. They can be here while they figure out careers, figure out what they want to go to college for, figure out jobs. They can be here after they graduate college. My home will always be open to my kids because they're my kids and this is their home.
You know, one of the hardest things I ever did in the beginning of my daughter's fentanyl use was kick her out. She was high, it was cold, we were living in Idaho, and she was picking fights with me, and it was in the middle of the night, and I remember her putting what she could in a laundry basket and walking down the sidewalk, and me looking out the little window through the door and just feeling like I was dying. I had taken the phone away that we had been paying for because I bought into the enabling thing, right? Tough love, enabling. You can't do it. You gotta let him hit rock bottom. And I said I'd never pay for a phone. I will say this. I really believe that I'm like, oh my God, she's going to not survive. Like, that was how I felt. And it's a horrible feeling as a parent to do that to your kid because you think it's the right thing to do to save them. She had a prepaid phone in less than 24 hours because I would frequently get on Bookface Messenger just to look for the little green dot. And so I knew she was connected to Wi-Fi. I kicked her out many times after that. And I still think it was the right decision at that time. I never wanted to be in the position to have to make that decision. You know what's even sadder about it is it got easier to kick her out each time. I think because I learned that those in active use, they're rather resilient. I don't know what I could have done differently than other than like looking back now, I would have had her keep her phone. But she was out of control. Our relationship was so toxic to begin with. If she had been my only child and I hadn't have had, you know, our grandson living with us, I think I probably would have been more lenient and let her come home, even in active use, in the hopes that she would choose, you know, recovery. But I had to, with these other kids, I had to create a safe space for them. And I can honestly say Brooke completely supported that decision. And she still says that now because, you know, there was a lot of regret.
I will never understand the type of parents who feel as if after their child turned 18 years old, oh, you got to move out, or I'm cutting you off financially, or they just throw you out there to the wolves and expect you to just know this adult life. Like, y'all know I'm 26 and I got a 10-year-old daughter. The way my mama did me, I would never be that type of mama to my baby. Let me just tell y'all about my mama. Let me tell y'all about Angie, may her soul rest in peace. As y'all know, I had got pregnant at 15. When my mama found out, my mama was ready. She was ready to be the grandmama, and she was just supporting me through the whole thing. I decided to be grown and was like, let me just move out and go stay with my baby daddy and his people. And y'all, I know that decision hurt her. But even when I left, y'all, she was still making sure I was straight. Like, she was still making sure I was good. And I would come home on the weekends and stuff, you know. After me and my baby daddy graduated, we got our first place together. We broke up a few days after I turned 21 years old. I called my mama so upset, crying. My mama told me, because she used to call me fat cat. She was like, fat cat, it's okay, just come home. She was like, it's gonna be okay, just come home. Y'all, when I tell y'all, anytime I would tell my mama falling short on something, my mama paid it. A ticket, she paid it. My rent, she paid it. Car note, she paid it. Car insurance, she paid it. Like, and anything that came down to my baby, if she needed something, she guided. Like, y'all, when I tell y'all, my mama stood on business when it came to her kids and her grandkids. I'm gonna be that type of mama for my baby. And if she have kids, I'm gonna be that type of grandma. Because that's just how I was raised. And my mama stood on business, so I'm gonna stand on business.
My mum hates me with a passion, and I don't know what it is, but she hates me. So here's my eviction notice to prove it. So let's open it in it and see what it says. I'm going to read it out to you. I've not read it, so we're going to read it together. Dear Tanya, take note, this has been given to you to vacate from the property above, commencing before the 31st of November. I didn't know there was 31 days in November, but okay. Only 30 days in November, but okay. It's with regret that I have come to this decision, but I can no longer accept your bad behaviour and mood swings, and I no longer feel safe in my home. What? You are no longer a child. You are 26 years old. I'm 25, but okay. And it's time to take your place into this world, and I wish you the best. So we need to delve into this because this is just going to be too much. Like, there's so much I need to say in regards to this eviction notice, but it's going to have to be in part 2.
Alright, cool. Everyone's been asking me for some advice if you're on the verge of homelessness and your parents are threatening to kick you out. Now, first things first, if you don't have to leave that house, don't leave your house. If you can make things work with your parents, then make it work with your parents. I'm telling you, as soon as you leave through them doors, yeah, life will hit you like a ton of bricks, yeah? Life will thump you in your back. If that's not an option, then here, save up as much money as possible. No joke, save up as much money as possible. Like, if they're threatening to kick you out, don't give them a dime. 2, if you're under the age of 18, find your way to social services. Don't wait on your parents to do anything, just go to social services. They will take you in and they will give you immediate help. If your parents have kicked you out and you're staying with their friend, yeah, please know there's an expiration date on how long you can stay there. Please be prepared to leave when that person tells you to move, yeah? Have more than one bank account, yeah? Separate your finances, read in between the lines. Mentally prepare yourself and rent the cheapest room and find a side hustle. Heavy on the mentally prepare yourself, yeah? Like for part 2.
Hey Gen X and elder millennials, I asked y'all, did you get kicked out by your parents at 18 or did you choose to leave? And there are more than 3,500 comments from y'all on those 2 videos explaining how your silent Gen or boomer parents booted you to the curb, or the home environment was not safe and you chose to leave as soon as you could. And this question was left on one of those threads. So for those of you who got kicked out, would you be willing to let your aging parents move in with you? I know my mother-in-law thought we were going to build her a cottage in our backyard, and that was a hard no. And if your answer is also no, do your parents understand why? Or do they feel that you are obligated to take care of them in their aging years? And I honestly wonder if a little bit of that is because they felt obligated to take care of us. The relationship was transactional and obligatory. It wasn't based out of love. And yes, not all silent Gen and boomer parents, but y'all, like 3,500 comments in less than 2 days. So stitch this or comment and let me know, would you let your parents move in with you?
My children are going to live in my house until they either buy one of their own houses, get married, or they come to me and say, Dad, I'm 40 now. I cannot live with you and Mom anymore. Unless it's one of those 3 things, the possibility of me even kicking them out of the house will never pass my mind. The idea, listen, as somebody who both experienced it, first time I got kicked out of the house, I was 14, and as somebody who has teenage children who are currently being little... Girls, if you're watching this, square up! Anyway, as somebody who currently has teenage children who can be a handful, there is nothing that could ever make me consider putting my babies out of the house. Now, in Nigeria, where I come from, there's a proverb that goes, the child that says his or her parent won't rest, he himself or she herself will not rest either. What that simply means in my context is, you want to be my child and make my life a nightmare. I will make your life a double nightmare. I will frustrate you as much as you frustrate me, meaning there is a million things I can do to implement discipline before I would ever even consider kicking them out of the house. There's a million things I can do to rectify whatever situation there is going on between me and your child, because let me tell you this, they will get to an age where they start to develop, they start to actually be their own people, and you will clash. Any parent who's ever had teenage children or from teenagers upwards knows this, trust me. There is never a thing in this world that would make me consider kicking my children out of the house until they are ready, until we have set up as their parents, until we have set up a foundation for them to spring into the world, not dig themselves out of underground, bounce on the foundation, the trampoline foundation we have set for them, and bounce, because that's your responsibility as a parent. And I think some of us forget that sometimes you're kicking the child out of the house because you're clashing with the child, but did the child ask to be born? No, the child came from your activities, and now you're tired of it.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
My parents kicked me out when they found out that I was pregnant. So I am 22 years old, I'm pregnant, and I no longer live with my parents. Growing up, my parents have always been super strict. I figured that me telling them that I was pregnant was going to be something that they were going to be really mad about. I was 100% sure that they were about to tell me that I ruined my life and that they were disappointed. So when I did tell my parents, my mom was super happy. She started crying, but my dad, on the other hand, my dad had literally no reaction. Like, he didn't even smile, he didn't cry, nothing. He was just silent. So I already knew, like, my dad does not approve of me being pregnant. He's probably so mad, like, he is not happy right now. That whole day that I told him, he did not say anything to me. So a couple days passed and my dad wanted to talk to me. I'm shitting myself because I already know that this is not going to go well and it has something to do with my pregnancy. So he basically had told me that he was super disappointed in me and that he thought that I had better plans for my future. So after he basically like shit on me for like 20 minutes telling me how I was making the wrong choices, he told me that because I decided to get pregnant, I have to move out. He said that. I was like, no, there's no way. My dad has to be joking. Like, he's not about to kick me out for reals. But he was not joking. He told me to find a place and that he expected me to be out in a month. I thought that was crazy. Like, your daughter just told you that she's pregnant and that's how you're gonna treat her? You're gonna kick her out? I'm totally kidding. That did not happen. But for some reason, a lot of you seem to think that I got kicked out when I say that I no longer live with my parents. So it's actually about to be like a year since I have lived with my parents. So during college, I actually lived in the dorm, so I got really used to living alone and by myself. I'm not gonna lie though, when I told them that I was not coming back, that was really scary. Me bringing up that I was leaving caused so much crying, so many arguments. It was like so bad. Maybe I'll make a video of how I actually told my parents that I was moving out, because if you have Mexican parents, you know how hard it is to tell them that you're moving out. They want you to be there forever. But yeah, I decided to move out because it didn't make any sense for me to live with them anymore. But they did not kick me out or anything. Did not kick me out because I was pregnant. No. They were actually super happy to find out that I was gonna give them a grandchild. Bye.
Get ready with me outside because I got kicked out of my house. Basically, the whole reason why I got kicked out of the house was because I kept on making videos where I was sneaking out, and my mom finally got fed up because she just thought that she couldn't punish me, and here we are with my luggage and clothes and everything. Also, might I add, it's currently raining outside. Like, y'all, it's literally raining. Basically, tell you how it came down to me getting kicked out of the house. Basically, I was filming a video of me sneaking out like I usually do, and I was honestly being so quiet. Like, I wasn't yelling or anything. Like, I never yell in any of my videos, right? Like, you guys know that. Well, my mom ended up seeing my location because silly me forgot to pause it or like to freeze it or turn it off or anything, and she saw that I wasn't home. So she ended up calling me. I obviously answered it, and she's like, get your butt home, you're getting kicked out. Mind you, she said this before, so like I honestly thought she was just joking. Also, I was able to get my mirror. But yeah, when I got home, she basically told me to pack my bags. I have 5 minutes and I'm getting kicked out of the house and I have to find somewhere to go. So I got my suitcase and then I got my bag. I literally have some clothes in my bag, I'm sure you guys can see. Now I'm just outside in front of the house. I don't think she knows that I'm in front of the house, but I'm waiting for my boyfriend to get off of work so he could pick me up, because if not, I'm literally screwed. So sorry for the thick jacket. This was literally the only jacket that I could pick up in a matter of 5 minutes because I knew it was raining. So we're looking a little bit crazy right now. I just know everybody's looking at me right now. There's a car turning. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, and they're looking at me. I can't. But yeah, you guys were right. It was time. I ended up finally getting kicked out of my house. I mean, I was kind of expecting it to happen because I just wasn't listening to her. So these are my consequences now. Also, like, very much freezing outside right now. It's literally raining. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the audio, but I'm barely like under a little bit of shelter. If you guys have any tips on how I can get back into this house, because basically everything that I've ever had is still in the house. I was only able to get like 5 shirts, some pants, and then just throw in like a couple things into my suitcase, but that's literally it. Everything else is inside. My cat is still inside. I literally don't have anything. I'm kind of screwed, but hopefully my mom will take me back in. Yeah, I'm gonna finish my makeup off camera and probably stop because this is really stressful for me. But anyways, happy April 1st day. I love you guys so much. Wish me luck.
I think that at times parents overreact. A lot of times they do. And it is not easy, number one, to be a parent, and 2, to kick out your child. That is rough. That is very rough. That was really not needed, honestly. There are other ways to punish your children than removing them from the home.
I have heard this tale a not insignificant amount of times, and I'm not saying every single boomer did this, but a lot of them either made the living arrangements so garbage for their children that the second their kids turned 18, they couldn't wait to get away, to be free of their absolute boomer, hate-filled tyranny, or they kicked their kids out at 18 to teach them a lesson with absolutely no comprehension that things today are not the same as they were before. So you have all of these kids that are like, oh, I went out and I wanted to go to school, but I couldn't go to school because I couldn't afford to go, so I had to start working, which the second you start working, the only thing you're doing is just working to continue to be alive the next week. Boomers across the board, and again, not everyone, maybe you were a fantastic and loving and supportive boomer parent, but for the most part, boomers ruined their children by creating an environment where they had no ability to succeed.
When I see these sad videos with this low music over it of people talking about they got kicked out at 17, I understand that some of y'all parents are trash, don't get me wrong, and I've had really good parents, but I can't help but ask myself every time, what did you do? That's the part we always leave out. Like, it's never okay to kick a 17-year-old out unless they are consistently breaking house rules after you've given them ample time and opportunity to correct themselves. Because if you in my house acting grown and I'm paying all your bills and facilitating your whole life and you just can't listen, and I'm not saying these overbearing parents, I'm saying regular shit, regular parents. You can't stop sneaking girls in through your window or guys in through your window. You getting up all types of times of the night and stealing the car and going wherever. You smoking that, you know, in your room and they told you not to do that in their house. You accumulate in all these instances where your parents are like, he acting like a grown man or a grown woman. Go be grown. Like, a part of me understands it and a part of me thinks it's disgusting. I just feel like y'all need to start giving more context to why y'all got put out at 17, 16, 15. Don't get me wrong. Some of y'all parents just trash. I hate to hear that. It's not funny. I hate to hear that. But we need context. Every time, tell what you did. You was a kid, but just be honest.
So you lot wanted a story time on how I got kicked out of my parents' yard. So I'm just going to do it quickly, but it's going to be slow. So I used to work in Zara in Stratford. And I can't lie, they would give us like longer shifts. Like, I'm talking 2 to 11 on Sundays. But I came home on a Friday night. Yeah, I came home on a Friday night. And I came home at 11:30, and to my dad, apparently that's too late for him. So obviously, went up to my door after a long, hard day of work, pressed the doorbell, nobody answered. Now I press again, nobody answers. And I was like, probably they're taking the piss out of me. They're probably taking a piss. So I pressed it bare times. Eventually, he opened the door. Now, obviously, he asked me why I'm late. I said I literally had work. He G-checks me, asked to see my timetable. I'm like, cool, calm. I showed him my timetable and he let me go. So I now go upstairs. I go to my room, which is on the very end of a corridor, and I try to open it. Tell me why my room door is locked. So I'm like, shit then. So I go ask my dad, why's my room door locked? And he's like, you don't have a room in this house. And I was like, listen, I just came back from a long day of work and you're telling me I don't have a room in the house. What's the hell? So now obviously I'm starting to get a little bit aggy. And I'm like, okay, cool. Can I get my pajamas at least? Because I was in my work clothes. True say, it was just like a simple top and bottoms. But still, I just didn't want to sleep in that, bro. They've been outside. Like, and he's like, you can get them tomorrow. And I was like, but I want to get it now. There's going to be no use getting it tomorrow. And he was like, I already told you can get it tomorrow. And you can sleep on the sofa downstairs. And at the time, to be fair, I didn't really have a problem sleeping on the sofa because like when my cousins come over, like we usually just slept on the sofas anyway. So to be fair, I wasn't really bothered about that part. And the fact that he wasn't even letting me get my pajamas to change and sleep. I didn't even have a problem with sleeping on the sofa, bear in mind. And so obviously I said to my dad, just because I've been ignoring all of you for the past week, you're all vexed about it. That's why you're doing this. Now obviously, African dad, Nigerian dad, that's the wrong move to make. So obviously I already knew it was the wrong move to make. So I started running downstairs. I ran to the living room and my dad grabbed me and started hitting me. So he hits me around the head top, you know, just like them general areas. But obviously my hands were like this. I was trying to do my defending thing. And at the same time, I was trying to like push him off me as well because I don't want to be beaten. It's literally 12 a.m. But eventually one of my hands slapped him around the face. So obviously it all blew up there and he started hitting me more. He was like, tough for me, you just hit me, And he came up behind me, like during all the slappings, he came up behind me and and obviously that busted up my lip and just made that part bleed. I'll put it in the video so that you man can have a better idea of what I'm talking about. So after everything was done, my dad said, pack a bag, you're leaving tomorrow morning. And bear in mind, no one else in my family was in the house at this time. It was literally just me and my dad because the rest of the family had gone to like a concert or something. So I eventually slept on the sofa, and the next morning my dad kicked me out. Obviously, I was 17 at the time with no clue where to go. Like, genuinely, I had no place to go, and I didn't even have reliable friends like that to let me stay over. But I only had one friend. She's not my friend anymore now though, but I stayed at hers for like about 3 days. I don't even think it was 3 days. I think it was 2 days. Yeah, it was 2 days. And eventually, when I had to leave hers, I moved on to somebody else. And that's when it got really bad. But stay tuned for part 2 though, if I make one.
I was kicked out of my house and disowned. Let's talk about that. So, 2 days ago, me and Vinny got kicked out of my house from my parents. He got threatened physically, and so we were like, we gotta go. My meds got stolen, so we were like, we gotta go. My benzos, which if I get a withdrawal of that, I can have a seizure. So yeah, we weren't staying in that house because that was not good for us. So we left. Now I am fully an adult because I have no parents. I was disowned. They shut off my phone, so I'm getting a new phone Wednesday. They no longer pay for my medicine, my benzos. So I need to figure out a way to pay for that. I need to get a job this week, which I already have a couple interviews for because my boyfriend and his family have a lot of connections, so they're going to help me with that. But yeah, that's a little life update. That's also why I've been stressed out lately and why I last night, you know? But it'll get better. It really will.
Story time about when I got kicked out of the house. So at this point, I'm still in school. I just turned 18. The few years leading up to this, I had had a series of long-term boyfriends. By this time, I'd been through some drug phases, one of which I was doing ecstasy and playing a lot of DDR, just to show you how unhinged I was. Anyway, my mom had a very limited view as to what I was up to. She knew when I had a boyfriend. That was mostly it. There was a time my sophomore year that I got caught with a nickel bag and suspended from school. She picked me up from school, refused to speak to me, which was a very common and effectual tool of hers, but that's just to say that she was aware of the times that we got caught smoking. In my opinion, at that time, she was overly strict and lacked a genuine care for my person or my well-being. So with her primarily, I was able to get really good at being more of a facade than anything. And my mom knew me to be someone completely different than how I genuinely thought and felt about things. I don't think she cared to know me at any point. But to understand the situation better, I feel like it's important to sort of explain the relationship dynamic between her and I. The dynamic between my mom and I, it felt gross a lot. I was very attentive to her. I was like a child butler, but emotionally. Okay, so the dynamic between my mom and I, it's hard to explain. When my mom was around, my posture was to be really invested in her well-being. It was a classic case of enmeshment, but that's because that's how I learned I could be most valuable to her, to always treat her in a way to where I was very much in tune with her as an emotional caregiver. It sounds really weird to say now, but I felt like it was my job to be her therapist, to listen to her problems, to let her vent, encourage her. I would talk her down. I would convince her she was doing the right thing. Always, I would validate her, never indict her. That was far too dangerous. I was a yes man. I only told her what she wanted to hear, and it was very dishonest. So partially because I knew that the truth would only incur wrath, so I really wasn't seeing any other options. Anyway, it was the way that I was so in tune to be able to tell her exactly what she wanted to hear. It was an art form, and it was a most toxic one. My siblings may have referred to me as a golden child, which I really don't think that's the case. I can't remember a time that my mom showed me any blatant favoritism. If anything, she was mindful not to, but it was the way that I was so obligated to show up for her. I was a titty baby. I remember getting home from my friend's house late on a school night. I was so tired and ready to go to bed, but I felt such an obligation to go upstairs and hang out with my mom in her room. I figured I would at least have to put in an hour before I could finally get some alone time. It was such a chore, and I really dreaded that. So anyway, when I turned 18, I thought I was in good standing in regards to my living situation. Like, getting kicked out of the house hadn't really crossed my mind. I was still in school for one thing, and there hadn't been any conversations about me getting kicked out. Soon after this, there was a weekend that I had taken Kingdom Hearts, which is a video game that my siblings and I all got for Christmas, over to a friend's house for a sleepover. And after I had returned, my mom broke to me the news that because I'd taken a Christmas gift that had been gifted to all of my siblings and not just I needed to get out. She had that face that haunts my memory, the very stern, stonewalling type of face. I said, there's no way. That cannot be the real reason that you're kicking me out right now. I don't think she responded much more than just to continue to say, you need to get out. And with that, I definitely felt my very present abandonment wound in that moment, because I knew that I was disposable to this person. But I had invested so much of myself in not being disposable. I'd spent so much time and energy and effort and even the shape of my personality to that end. So for her to turn around and so easily discard me with no explanation felt devastating. I was pleading with her, saying, you have to at least tell me why you're kicking me out. And in that moment, she couldn't be more heartless. She just stood there with no expression. I then asked, how am I even supposed to afford an apartment? I'm still in school. Her response was, take out some credit cards. And unfortunately, that's what I did. I stayed with my boyfriend for maybe a week, and then within a couple of weeks, I rented an apartment downtown.
But I have to say, I have seen and heard of stories where I'm like, okay, yeah, they're gone out of my house. If it was me, nah, they're gone. A lot of parents do not want to kick their children out. But if it is unsafe for your mom and your dad, they may kick you out to protect their souls and their other kids, perhaps. Even for us, we had to kick out our relative because of alcohol addiction. We had to kick her out of our house. It was just too much. Every other day, every other night, I was in the hospital, stressed out because of her addictions. There are some scenarios and some people in this life where it is better that they are out of your life. It is better that way for just everyone. It's better for them. It's better for you. There are some children like that. They stress their parents out to the point where it's just like, dude, I can die of stress if I just keep this person in my life like that. There are some children like that. Some troublesome, problematic children that just need to live away from you. And I totally understand those parents. Although it is a hard choice to make, but at times it calls for that. And just because a parent kicks out their child does not mean that they do not care about them. It does not mean that they don't love them. A lot of the times they love them, but at some point it doesn't make sense for them to remain in that household and continuously cause issues and problems after talks. Just please leave. I don't want to do it, but for my own health, for my own this, for just peace, leave. Some children are like that. If your kid is on drugs, for example, if he starts to hit you, if he tries to just do crazy things, how would you respond? And you can't sleep, and you're sleeping at work, and it's affecting your health, it is affecting your other kids, and just stuff like that. How would you react? And it's been happening for months at a time, 3 months, 4 months, and you try to help them and continuously help them and help them and help them, and it's not just going through. The help is not helping. They're creating problems after problems after problems. After 3 years, how long can you endure that? You try all the means. How long can you really endure that? So know the full story of everything before you start to judge. Trust me. If you were in their shoes, you would do the exact same thing. You don't want to. It's your child. You love them. But at some point, it's just like, bruh, nah, I just can't.
So I guess this is what happens when you decide to visit your mom, who pushed away all 6 of her kids, who don't have a relationship with all 6 of her kids. Not 1, 6 of her kids. And I try to give her the benefit of the doubt. And now look, all of my stuff. This is food. Why is food mixed with shoes? Now we gotta leave. Because I didn't want to do what she said at that point and step outside the door at a mechanic shop with my kids, because we was in the AC and I had my daughter in my hands, and I said, hey, we can talk about this later, but I'm around other people right now. My car down there is not holding a charge, and my alternator is bad. Got a new one put in.
This been weighing on me heavy, so I'm finally ready to tell the story about my husband kicking me out my house. Y'all can listen to 2 times speed, but long story short, we was married for 18 years, and we had literally, it was a normal day, so I thought we'd get back to the house after being at this little gala, you know, I'm being a trophy wife or whatever, and I see trucks and stuff outside, but I also see new clothes and stuff in my closet, so I'm like, oh, my baby thought about me, he got me some new clothes. No, he was moving somebody else in our house, no warning to me. You know what he did to me? He dragged me out of the house, because I wasn't willingly walking out. He literally dragged me out of our $1 million house
in front of the movers and a U-Haul man. So the U-Haul man ended up taking me somewhere. I'm like, bro, where are you gonna take me? He made me cut off all my family. I don't have nobody. I ended up going to my unmable house. And when we got up there next morning, she was like, oh, baby, we're going back to the house because my unmable don't play. Everybody know. You tell unmable something, oh, baby, it's. So we went to the house, girl. Tell me why. In there, we ripping up couches, cutting up couches with chainsaws, ripping up the girl clothes. It was a mess. But y'all remember the dude in the U-Haul? I was a little mean to him. Why, girl? We had a family get together, and I'm talking to my cousin. And why old dude from the U-Haul pull up to the family function? That was messy in itself, but me and him started talking. You know, we was seeing each other be a little woo-doo, but it was just like, I don't know. So then I'm chilling and I'm watching TV. Why do I see my ex-husband? He wasn't really my ex-husband. We was still together, but we was separated at the time. He just had the broad in our house. He ended up getting shot. See, let me not. He ended up getting shot. So of course, we was together 18 years. So I went to go see about him. And I'm glad I did, because the new girl was trying to pull the plug. She just wanted his money. And so I ended up having to, try to take care of him, nurse him back to health, because he ain't had nobody. The girl left him. Why he still being rude, nasty, and dirty to me? So you know what? I got fed up one day. One day, I made me this salad. Oh, it was so fire. Made me a salad. I ate it in his face. Asked me, did I give him some? And did. And I let him sit with himself for a few days. Since you want to talk to me crazy, and I'm the one here, and the other one here. Oh, baby, I got something for you. But then I came back a few days later. He was too stinky, so I just threw him in the water. I wasn't going to let him drown, but I needed him to be a little scared because I was tired of how he was treating me. And then eventually, at this point, I'm in a whole debacle, because it's like, okay, I'm nursing this man back to health. But I also got this other man who saw me get thrown out the house, who I like a little bit too. Like, what am I supposed to do? And my mama told me I can't be being too mean to him. So, I had to ask God for forgiveness. And, he worked it out for me. I had forgiveness in my heart. My ex-husband was doing better. He had a little forgiveness in his heart. And he apologized. I needed that. And that's all I needed. And after that, me and Mr. U-Haul man, who saw me get thrown at my house, ended up happily ever after. And my favorite cousin stopped doing drugs and got back with her man too. So, it was a win-win in my family.
Y'all, so 3 days ago when I was at work, right, my uncle randomly just texted me and told me, like, he basically don't want me living with him no more. I'm a burden in his life, blah, blah, blah. I'm not welcome there anymore. And he did that because I have a job and I go to school, and he want me to stay at home and cater to him and his kids, which I'm not fucking doing, right? Which I told my dad, like, Dad, this is what's going to happen. I could tell, because there was so much tension in the house. So leading up to that 3 days, he didn't talk to me for 3 consecutive days. Mind you, we was just like this the week before, so I'm like confused, but I'm like, it's okay, it's whatever. So he wrote me this long paragraph about how I'm selfish and I'm never there for him and his kids. Mind you, I'm 21. He's like 42, 43. His daughters are 16 and 14. And their mom's not around. His wife left a long time ago. And so it's like, how the fuck do you want me at 21 years old to be a mother figure to them? Like, I'm still learning out life myself. Like, I would help them with stuff. I would cook. I was cleaning. I was spending $500, $600, $700 in groceries every month, all types of shit. And he talking about I'm selfish and I'm a burden in his life, and he gets sad every time I pull in his driveway. So what did I do? He texted me that at 9:30 that morning. By 9:40, I had left work. I went and I applied for an apartment that same day, went to a job interview, got the job, and I went to U-Haul and public storage, got a storage unit, moved all my stuff out of his house, cleaned his room in like 2 hours, and left, and I haven't been back since. Now here it is 3 days later. Your girl in her own apartment. Yeah, the cabinet's ugly, but I'm a vinyl. It don't matter. He thought he was putting me out on my ass. He thought I didn't have no money or nothing. Like, in a message, he was like, I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go. Blah, blah, blah. You're no longer welcome here. You weren't out your welcome. Because I go to school and I have a job. And I don't want to sit there and play house and stepmom and older big sister and maid and chef and cook and clean for them all the time. Mind you, I've been wanting to leave, but my dad was like, no, just stay there. Stay there until I get home. Because everybody know my dad incarcerated. But your girl got her own apartment, and I did it in 2 days, really, because he put me out on Thursday, he put me out on Wednesday, and on Friday I got the keys to my apartment. So got me an apartment, and I just went grocery shopping and a little household appliances shopping, and I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna show y'all. Like, comment, and share this video so I can get me some furniture ASAP.
A lot of these kids who got kicked out never said what they did to piss their parents off. A lot of them, they never said, okay, I did this, and this was wrong and stuff like that. Very few actually said that. So it begs the question, what really happened? What is the full story? What's the full story?
Story time about how I got kicked out of my house. Woohoo! Okay, so let me start off by saying no, this is not a joke. I wish it was. Basically, Thursday, I went to go stay at my sister's house, and I told my mom I was staying at my sister's house, and she was mad, but she always gets mad, and like she didn't say anything. So then Friday morning she texted me, she was like, where are you? I need to take the dog out. And I was like, I'm still here, like visiting family, blah blah blah. I'll be over there later to take the dog out. And she starts going insane, like when I tell you, like blowing me up, calling, texting, like cussing me out. Like I wasn't answering her calls because my mom is a crazy, scary woman when she gets mad, so I wasn't answering, obviously. So then she calls me like 6 times in a row. I was like, okay, I have to answer, like I just have to answer. And she immediately starts yelling, where are you? And I was like, I'm in the car. She was like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. I'm not in my car, though. Like, but I'm in the car. Like, I'm coming. And she was like, you're an effing liar. Get the F out of my house. And hung up. And I was like, okay, here we go again. Because this is not the first time that she's told me to get out. So I was like, okay, here we go again. She proceeds to text me and tells me that I have 20 minutes to take my car to the house, take my phone to the house, the credit card, my keys, everything, leave it all there, pack a bag, but I couldn't pack anything that she bought me, and get out. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, so we're being for real. So I did, and I went to my house and I dropped my car off, dropped my phone off, dropped everything off, grabbed a whole bunch of my stuff, put it in a suitcase, my bags, like whatever I could find, and left. And I went to my sister's house, and I got there and I was like, I left my ID at home. So Kennedy texted her dad and said, is it okay if we take the car to get McKenna's ID? And he said, as long as grandma's with you, yes. So Kennedy's grandma got in the car. She only has one leg, so she couldn't drive. So I drove to my house, got my ID, and left. I didn't hear anything from my mom for like a couple hours, and I was like, okay, whatever. She proceeds to text Kennedy, telling her that she has video evidence of us driving a car that we stole, that we took things out of her house that were hers. She was talking about the suitcase, which, if we want to talk about it and go into laws, anything that is gifted to you as a minor once you turn 18 is now deemed yours, like it's your property. So the suitcase is mine. Let's just put that one in there. And she was mad that I took a mirror that I have text of her saying, take this mirror to your sister and give it to her, because she bought her a vanity and she had to order her a new mirror because her mirror didn't work. So I took it. That was the only thing I took, and she was mad. She was like, I'm gonna call the cops on you, like, blah, 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 you stole a car, you stole this, you stole that. And I was like, I didn't steal anything. Like, the car is in the driveway, so that's not theft. You're insane. And Kennedy's dad was like, just stay there or whatever. So I went to sleep, woke up. The next morning, we were like, whatever, just getting ready, blah, blah, not really doing anything. And we all decided that we were gonna go downtown. So we were getting ready, went downtown. I came back to Kennedy's house before Kennedy did because I wanted to take a shower, go to bed, like, do whatever. I just didn't want to be downtown anymore. And Kennedy's dad got mad that I got to the house before they did and locked the front door, had somebody go inside the house and lock the front door, and took Kennedy out of the garage door opening app. So I sat outside for an hour and a half in the rain because he locked me out of the house. And then Kennedy got there, he wouldn't let her in, he was calling her, telling her to get out, telling her I'm not allowed to stay there anymore. So we were like, okay, well, now I'm homeless 2 times in a row in 2 days. And so we called Kennedy's mom, she came and got us, well, her stepdad came and got us, and we stayed there. So then the next morning, which was yesterday, so Sunday, we got up and we went back to Kennedy's house. He told us the door was unlocked, so we went back and we were just chilling, we ate food, and he calls her. And Kennedy's stepmom, her dad's wife, grabs a phone, tells Kennedy that she's furious that we stole the car, that I had 5 minutes to get out of their house or she was going to call the cops on me. So again, I got kicked out of another house. So I packed my things and I left. In case anybody says crazy as to stalk my TikTok, I'm not saying where I am. I am somewhere. Probably not going to be here for long because I don't like just like staying in people's house, like, you know, like overstaying my welcome. I don't care if they tell me, oh, you're welcome here at any time. I don't like doing that. But unfortunately, I have no family that lives here. So it looks like I'm gonna have to move across the country. But yeah, that's basically the story. She did text me yesterday on Facebook. She started texting me on Facebook. And was telling me that I had until 12 p.m. noon today to come home, or I was never allowed back in the house. That if I didn't come home, she was going to report me to the cops for theft, and that I was going to go to jail, and all of this. She told me that she was going to herself, because she's not a good enough mom. She doesn't understand why I'm acting like this, why I won't come home, why I'm such a terrible child, telling me that she hopes Kennedy's mom can fill the void of motherhood that she never could, all this and that. And Kennedy's dad starts texting me talking about, you need to go home, you need to talk to your mom, like just call your mom. I'm not calling her. She just told me she was going to herself. Anybody that knows me know that my dad passed away when I was 9, which means she would leave me with no parents, and she's okay with that because she's mad. So I'm not calling my mom. She has texted multiple of my friends' parents telling them that I had until 12 p.m. noon today to come home or she's going to call the cops. It's now 2:28, so I'm assuming she's called the cops. So if y'all see my mugshot anywhere, screenshot that hoe. At least I'll be looking bomb. I didn't say that. At least I had makeup on. I don't know. I literally don't know what's happening. I think she's having a psychotic break. I did tell her she needed to go get help after she texted me bipolar on and off. I just said, I hope you get some help. You're a narcissist, which is not a lie. She is. Yeah, that's basically the story. So I'm 18, which means she can't say that I ran away. Also can't say that I ran away because I have texts of hers telling me to get the F out of her house. So I left. She can't really do anything. I don't know if she understands that. If you want to report me for theft for stealing the car that I didn't steal and that I parked right back in their driveway, go ahead. But yeah, that's a story. If y'all want to Venmo me, I'll post my Venmo because I have no money and I have to find somewhere to live. Love you guys.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.